Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Junk Baller Podcast. As always, my name is Michael Greenwood, and I'm here with my good friend who's also a Yankees fan, Kevin Otterbein. How are you, Kevin?
I am good, sir. How are you?
I'm doing all right. You know, the Phillies suck, but overall, Sixers won. I'm repping my Sixers gear right now. Now, Kev is a Brooklyn Nets fan, and I'm a Sixers fan. So right now, we're up 1-0, as the series pretty much should be, and how that is.
I'm a little disappointed. I was hoping you'd say you're doing well because I said I was doing good.
Did I say good?
No, you said you were doing all right.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not really doing well because the Phillies are lowering my self-esteem with everything. It's kind of getting me sidetracked with everything.
But yeah, I'm good because even though the Nets lost, I expected it, and the Yankees won today, so I'm not too torn up about it.
That's good. Yeah, let me get into my fact real quick. So we are recording on April 15th. And Kev, do you know what April 15th is in baseball? In MLB baseball world.
Tell me more.
Tell me more. So April 15th is a very impactful day in baseball because it changed baseball for good.
Indeed.
What was the year?
1947.
There you go. See? Good team right here. So 1947, special player Jackie Robinson changed color barrier in baseball, and he was the first African American baseball player. Now we're not counting the Negro leagues that were, but now the Negro leagues are part of baseball history and Baseball Reference, all those stats, which is amazing. Should have been done a long time ago.
Indeed.
But Jackie Robinson changed baseball for good, and today is Jackie Robinson Day, and it's where everyone wears the number 42. Everyone is Jackie Robinson, and which is great because it's just a great just representation of how far we've come in the baseball world. And baseball is always the last one to change in a lot of ways. We're always slow to in changing things, but that day, it feels good to be a baseball fan on that day and watch everyone wear 42. But I have some interesting facts of how it came to be. So in the 50th anniversary of Jackie Robinson Day, Ken Griffey Jr., you ever heard of him?
Who?
Ken Griffey Jr. in 1997, on the 50th anniversary of Jackie Robinson, he wore number 42. Mm-hmm. Now, he had asked Bud Selig before this to see if he could actually wear number 42 in honor of Jackie Robinson. And so when he called Bud Selig was like, hey, why don't I call Jackie Robinson's wife? I believe it's his wife. Yeah, let me make sure I'm doing this right. Yes. No, he asked the Robinson family. I'm sorry. And when he asked the Robinson family, they gave him, yeah, sure. But what was great is that Bud Selig actually came back and said, hey, why don't we all wear 42 from now on? So Griffey was able to wear 42 that day. But then from now on, everyone on April 15th will wear number 42. And that's how it started. And it's great. It's honestly probably one of the coolest days in baseball. You get to see every player, white, black, Mexican, Asian, Hispanic.
There's Mexican baseball.
Well, yeah, I'm talking more. I was trying to be more generic, and I think it's just awesome. I actually was talking with my brother today. I kind of want to get a Jackie Robinson jersey of a Phillies with 42 on it, and I thought that'd be pretty cool.
Well, I think it was also in 1997 as well that they retired the number 42 across Major League Baseball.
Is that what they did too?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I technically have a 42 jersey, but it's not for Jackie Robinson.
No, it's not. Who was it the last player to wear?
It was for Mariano Rivera,
yep.
And he was the last active player to wear number 42 before retiring in 2013.
Mm-hmm. Yes, he was.
And he chose it because of Jackie Robinson.
Yeah, so, yeah, it's just a great day. And just a great fact. It's both of us being white, we don't know exactly what he went through back then because just in a different time. But like, when I went to the Hall of Fame, and I saw some stuff there. It was just, I think his section was actually one of the coolest sections at the Baseball Hall of Fame.
Yeah. The number 42 is a great movie.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
I mean, I know they were trying to focus on like when he actually came up. I wish they went a little longer into his career, but it's still a solid watch. Chadwick Boseman does a great job playing Jackie Robinson.
Rest in peace. Yeah. That's 42 is up there with probably one of my top 5 favorite baseball movies. It's really good. But yeah, Jackie Robinson Day. If you want more information and backstory on what a legend Jackie Robinson, also with the civil rights movement, he was very influential with that. Just a great guy. And Kevin and I were actually talking right before this that we should go visit the Jackie Robinson Museum and Foundation, which is in New York, which we were just at.
Yep.
And we didn't realize that we were that close to it. But what did we do last Wednesday, Kev?
We went to a Yankees-Phillies game at last in New York this time. I've been to 2 or 3 Yankees-Phillies games in Philadelphia, and it hasn't been a bad experience for me. I've always been treated fine by the Phillies fans, give or take a few people who are just, you're going to have those kind of fans at every game regardless.
Yeah, we're losers.
But this time I got to bring my Phillies friends along so they can experience what it's like being on the other end of being in a Phillies game at Yankee Stadium.
Yep. And so this was my first time at Yankee Stadium. I was really excited to go, even though we had to wake up early, skip a day of work. And it wasn't going to be the best weather day, but it even was worse than what we had thought. It was supposed to be like 55, 60-ish degrees and cloudy. But it happened to be 47 degrees and drizzling rain with a real feel of 42.
Yeah.
It was miserable, to say the least.
The day before the game, warm,
gorgeous,
sunny,
freaking
70
gorgeous
degrees. The next day, same thing. The day we went, drizzly and rainy and windy, and I was like all bundled up by the end of it because I clearly did not dress warmly enough for the game.
JC's hands were like purple, and we were kind of concerned. I was a little bit concerned about that. I was like, he's not that good.
I was keeping score through the first 7 innings or so. I'm like, I can't keep my hands exposed anymore. I just kept my hands in. I
went through it. I decided I was like, what's 2 more innings? I got to do this. I just got to do it. But I'll give you my feedback for Yankee Stadium being a first-time visitor.
Sure.
I really liked it. I was surprised how clean it was. I'm not sure because it was the beginning of the year, but it was really clean. So kudos to them for that. I remember talking with you as we're walking through the concourse area that I kind of like the more open concourse stadiums instead of the ones that kind of feel like the ceiling and the stands are closer to you. So it kind of felt a little bit more cramped. It wasn't as wide of concourse as Citizens Bank Park is. But overall, I liked it. I did like the outfield section a lot. I kind of want to go out there and sit in the bleachers with some of the fans one of these times. Maybe not next year because probably the Phillies don't play next year in New York. Maybe I don't know how MLB is doing it with it, but I really liked Yankee Stadium. I thought it was clean. It felt bigger than what I thought. It's
a big place.
I know it seats like 55 or something close.
51,000.
Yeah, something like that. But it felt bigger, even though the outfield is a joke. That's my take on it because Carlos Correa hit 2 home runs last night that shouldn't have been home runs. But recap: the Phillies lost. We suck. It was a good pitching matchup with Cole and Nola. Nola, I think he's adjusting the pitch clock, but overall, it was a good pitching matchup. Phillies were struggling to hit. But overall, I liked Yankee Stadium. It's better. I was trying to figure out if it was better than Citi Field. They're close because that's where for me, they're kind of close to each other in that regards. Yeah. But, and then we also got, Cat's Deli. Yep. And that was freaking tastic. Oh my gosh. What are the
very good.
So good. What I have? Pastrami.
Yeah, pastrami. I had the brisket. I mean, they're like $25 sandwiches, but they give you a lot.
Yeah. So it was expensive, but really good. even JC, who's gluten free, he enjoyed it. He didn't have the bread, but the meat was oh my God, it was amazing. And I got heckled a little bit wearing my Philly stuff, but I threw it right back because they were like, oh yeah. And then I was like, well, at least we went back to the series before you guys. And then they didn't have a response for that one. Yeah. And then we got some pizza at some places after the game. Really, really fun day, even though it's better for you because the Yankees won.
Yeah, I just wish we got to go on a better day because I would have liked to have shown you around a bit more.
Yeah.
I feel like because of the weather and because we didn't get there as early, we kind of had to rush around just to walk around the ballpark a bit before finally getting back to our seats.
Yeah. Because we wanted to explore Monument Park a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That and also just like I wanted to hang out in the bleacher area a bit more. Like you said, I definitely want to go back there.
Yeah.
It's a fun place.
Yeah.
Yankees do everything big there, which is probably why you have that experience of having this place being so big. Because
Yeah.
it's just like it's supposed to be an homage to the old stadium. Like you have the facade going around the upper deck like they did.
It was
the
gorgeous.
Old place.
It was gorgeous looking. I'll say that. It was really nice looking.
Yeah.
When we took the subway in, and that was my first time on the New York subway.
Not so gorgeous.
Not so gorgeous. And Kev was a tour guide for sure. And if we had lost, if JC and I had lost him for some reason, we would have been stranded somewhere because Kev was just booking from one place to another. And I'm like, Kev, you can't go too far. Otherwise, we're going to get lost. You just can't. But Kev knew exactly where we needed to go every step of the way, which train, which transfer. Yeah. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. And I definitely want to go to Yankee Stadium again. You talked about that I should go to Yankees Boston series.
Yes, you should.
But I feel like I should go when Boston's a little more competitive.
Yeah.
Because right now I feel like you guys kind of just have.
I'm telling you, I went to Yankees Red Sox games in 2003, 2004. That energy, there was nothing like it.
Yeah.
Totally recommend. I know for you it might be a bit rowdy.
Well, I don't mind the rowdiness of. I mean, when I was at the World Series game, like there was a lot of heckling, and the championship game with the Padres.
I don't know if you've seen Yankees Red Sox kind of heckle.
No, I can imagine there's probably a lot more vulgar, vocabulary.
Yeah, probably not like you said as much now because the Red Sox aren't too good. When both teams are good, it's
and the hard thing is that I'd be rooting for the Red Sox too, which I don't like doing, but I don't like. I like the Red Sox more than the Yankees, even though liking the Red Sox is not really high on my list either. Now I'd go back to Camden to watch the Yankees Baltimore game because Baltimore is my second favorite team.
Yeah, Yankees played in Camden right after that series, and I guess that's when we'll get into our team talk.
Yeah,
because there's a bit to catch up on. It's been 2.5 weeks, I think, or maybe a little over 2 weeks since our last podcast.
It's been a little bit, it's been 2 weeks into the season. We recorded on opening day.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we're recording on April 15th, so the Yankees just finished up their game against Minnesota, 6-1 win. Armand had an unusually good game, which he needed. There was a bit of controversy that has yet to be resolved. In between innings, umpires have been checking the hands of the pitchers to determine if there's any substances that will help with the grip of the ball, which you can't do.
You mean like spider tack?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So like in between innings of today's game, there was an umpire who was looking a bit extra at his hands today. But instead of reprimanding him for what may or may not have been any substances, he was just telling him to wash his hands. And that got the Twins, in a mood. And Rocco Baldelli, the Twins manager, got ejected.
Wait, they just told him to wash his hands?
Yeah, it's just like you should wash your hands better or wipe your hands off better, something like that.
What?
I mean, if there was actually substance on his hands, he should be thrown out and suspended.
Yeah, so why would was his hands just dirty from the dirt? He's playing a sport.
I guess.
That's in the dirt and the grass outside. Like,
I mean, like, I would argue
what is this with the hygiene in baseball? What is this?
But I mean, it was like that. That's what I would be thinking. But they were huddling for a while over it.
Yeah.
But maybe it was nothing. But that's just something to keep.
Well, you guys are off to a better start than the Phillies.
We're off to a better start. They're holding steady right now. Just with the starting pitching, Cole has been magnificent.
Yeah, I think he's been the best pitcher in baseball, honestly. Yeah. For sure.
I mean, watching him at the game we went to was just a masterclass.
Yeah.
Clark Schmidt has a little bit to work on. I mean, it's hard to transition from a relief pitcher to a starting pitcher, but he's been struggling.
Yeah.
So has Armand until this last game. He threw almost 6 innings of perfect ball this afternoon, which also adds to the maybe he had a substance on his hand or not kind of argument because he hadn't been pitching that good.
He's Trevor Bauer.
Yeah. Frito's been a nice surprise.
Except for when he pitched for my fantasy team. I literally just picked him up, and all of a sudden, -19 as soon as I checked my freaking fantasy. And then -21 when he got the loss added to it. So I'm never picking a freaking Yankee pitcher on my fantasy team anymore.
It's going to happen. It's going to happen. That was his first bad start. Hopefully he can bounce back.
Ruined my entire strategy on fantasy.
Offense has been pretty steady. Volpe has been a nice surprise. As a rookie, he's been fun to watch. He had 3 stolen bases today.
Oh.
First since Ichiro to have 3 or more stolen bases in a Yankees game.
It's a good name to be associated with.
Yeah, I keep forgetting that Ichiro was a Yankee. I guess most people like to forget that he was.
Yeah, no, it's kind of like when you see certain players, you're like, they don't belong in that uniform. Yeah. No, Ichiro does not belong in a Miami Marlins or a Yankee uniform at all.
Yeah. I mean, Judge hitting great, Stan hitting bombs. So, yeah, they're just holding steady. Keep holding that until the rest of the starting rotation comes back.
Yeah.
So overall, I'm pretty content. How about your Phils?
Oh, gosh. As I'm I'm watching we're watching the Phillies game right now. They're playing Cincinnati, and we just missed turning a double play. So I am really frustrated with this team, to say the least. I'll keep it sane right now because every time I watch every game. I want to watch every game. I stay informed. It's my favorite thing to do. They are making me dread watching this team. This team is the 4th highest payroll, I believe, in baseball. Obviously, we're missing Reese and we're missing Bryce. And we don't have Suarez either. But this team just doesn't look like they have it. They look incomplete almost and like lethargic in a lot of ways. Now, they got the win last night, stopping the 3-game losing streak. But I think they were second in average. I think it was a couple of days ago. They were second in average and 3rd in on-base percentage, but 22nd in runs. And during their 3-game losing streak, I think they were like 1 for 19 with runners in scoring. They had left I can't remember, but they had left so many people on base. It's the little things that add up. Like last night we actually did a good job. JT had a runner on 3rd with 1 out, and he hit a sac fly instead of, grounding down to 3rd baseline. He made a fly ball, which is good. Fundamental baseball. What the Rays were doing, fundamental baseball. They bunted with bases loaded or something like that. I'm like, that's awesome. I love that. But yeah, right now the Phillies, they're struggling. Starting pitching hasn't been great. We haven't gotten a pitcher into the 7th inning. Again, I'm trying to keep myself sane here. It's so frustrating.
You think this is just kind of like a temporary World Series slump right now, beginning the season?
I think it's a little bit of not having everyone in the lineup that they thought they would have at the beginning of the season. Reese, I think, is a big factor in that.
Right.
I think they're starting to see, like, man, we really wish we had Reese in this lineup, kind of as like our, he's the kind of like the foundation that started this. So that I think that is kind of dampening their spirits. And I think the pitching, the Wheeler and Nola, who are not fans of the pitch clock, are adjusting to that. Now, Nola's pitched better than the first outing that he had, but even the last outing, he kind of got in a little bit of trouble. And even Wheeler, they just have these one bad innings after a while, and it's frustrating. So I think we'll be okay. I think, but right now, it's not fun watching this team right now. And I'm like, why did I pick this to be the year that I go and travel to go see this team in different stadiums? I told you I just bought.
Because you're a real fan.
Yeah, but is it really helping my mental health at all to go pay money and fly to a different city to be like, oh yeah, I'm going to sit for 2.5, 3 hours and watch this team and be absolutely miserable.
But you're going to one of those places is Colorado.
Correct.
Out to Denver, which, that sounds like a lot of fun to me.
I am really excited about it. So I've been to Denver once before, and I kind of just wanted to. Denver was on the list of possible ones that I could do, and I'm like, sure, I'll do it. Found a good flight. Hopefully it doesn't get canceled because I didn't buy one that's refundable. Gonna do that with Chicago too. Think I'm buying Chicago this week. But yeah, we'll see. Again, Costi, jeez.
Phillies got out the first inning.
Yeah, that was So it's overall, I'm a little frustrated with this team. they're just hard to watch. They need to put it all together. They need to get on like a 2 or 3 game win streak, winning, and do the small things. I think they have a good shot against the Reds. The Reds aren't the best team, but again, it's the Phillies. So
just played the Reds, and didn't they win the series?
Yeah, 2 out of 3. Yes, but they should have won 3 out of 3. They should have swept them. They blew the save. Oh my gosh.
Saturday, that was was on Cincinnati.
Again, it's just the small things. Oh, by the way, our bullpen leads the league in walks. It's fantastic.
I'm giving you a thumbs up.
Yeah, he's giving me a thumbs up. It's fantastic. I'm so stressed about this team.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, we don't have a closer right now. So.
But you're winning.
We are winning.
Yeah.
We are winning, but when the games are close, it's a bit nerve-wracking.
Yeah, well, same here, because apparently we have Kimbrel going to be our closer now instead of Alvarado, who's literally striking out every single batter. Kimbrel used to be one of my favorite players, but he's not the Kimbrel of old. He's not the... I think they're trying to get him the 300, whatever, a milestone save or something like that for Kimbrel.
The nature of the closer in general is just so finicky.
Yeah. It's changed so much recently, too.
It's changed so much. That's why I've gotten to appreciate going back to Mariano Rivera, appreciate him more and more, because he was someone who was consistent over that whole time and
one pitch,
the same quality. Yeah,
one pitch.
He had that breaking ball that everyone knew was coming. They still couldn't hit it.
Did you consider a cutter a breaking ball? It's just a cut fastball. It cuts, but it's not a breaking ball. A breaking ball
but it breaks enough. It's not like...
Well, okay, I got to look this up. I got to look up the definition of a breaking ball.
Well, while you're doing that, you don't want closers going into extra innings all that often, which is what happens sometimes if you have bad closers and they blow leads. So baseball has been looking into the extra inning problem for a while.
Oh, can I give you the definition of breaking ball real quick?
Can you let me do my transition first?
No, absolutely not. Yeah, do your transition. Yes.
No, go ahead.
Too late. Okay, so this is just the Wikipedia definition, so I want to look it up. In baseball, a breaking ball is a pitch that does not travel straight as it approaches the batter. It will have a sideways or downward motion on it, sometimes both a slider. Breaking ball is not a specific pitch by that name, but it is any pitch that breaks, such as a curveball, slider, screwball. A pitcher who primarily uses breaking ball pitches is often referred as a junk baller. Look at that. Look at that. Shout out Wikipedia shouting us out.
Oh, you got off of Wikipedia?
Yeah, that's just that's just the Wikipedia.
Oh, whatever.
Yeah, I know. So anyone can write that,
Yeah.
But I don't see cutter there. So here, let us know in the comments. Do you think a cutter is considered a breaking ball, or do you consider it a fastball? Let us know in the comments.
Yeah. I'm probably wrong, but whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I'll put that on Instagram or something like that. All right.
Kev's wrong about the cutter.
Yeah, Kev's wrong about the cutter.
Yes, and also yes. So going back to the topic at hand, we wanted to discuss another topic about change in baseball, and one of that is related to the time length of game. And one of the problems that MLB's been having is the glut of extra inning games. And no one likes sitting through extra inning games, especially the super
I do. Free baseball.
Me too.
Yeah.
But most people don't.
Yeah, they're wusses.
Especially when you go 13, 14. After you go after the 12th inning,
I think it's for me, I think it's the 15th inning for me. I think that's when I'm like, all right, let's move. Let's get it done.
Yeah. I think I remember there was a Yankees-Red Sox game that went 18 or 19 innings years ago. There was a Mets-Cardinals that went 20... It almost went 20 innings. I think it might have went 21 or 22. I don't remember exactly.
Yeah, that's too long.
It was a long game.
That's too long.
It was a long game.
It's a great story. It's a great story. You're like, oh, man, they went 20 innings. Holy crap. Yeah. But for the pace of play type of stuff, yeah. Okay, continue.
Yep. So one of the rule changes that MLB has been proposing is the idea of, hey, let's try and get runs to score faster. That way the game will be able to end quicker and you don't have to have people staying around for 4, 5, 6 hours in the ballpark. With that, during the COVID-19 pandemic, there was an extra emphasis on having these games end shorter for health and safety concerns. So in 2020, they added what is called the automatic runner, or what is popularly known as the ghost runner. We've also seen names like
zombie runner,
the Manfred runner,
apparently the invisible runner,
the invisible runner. But baseball's official definition is the automatic runner.
Doesn't sound right. Automatic runner? Just doesn't sound
That's
right.
what it says here. I got the website right up here. Automatic runner. Even though their heading says designated runner. So even who knows if that's even
Wow,
right.
MLB's got to work on their branding.
They do. This isn't even this is from like 2021 or 2022, but the rule's still the same.
Okay.
So what they've been doing, what Ghost Runner is that beginning in the 10th inning, a runner will be added on second base to start the inning.
Mm-hmm.
The player who's chosen to play at second base will be the batter that immediately precedes that half innings leadoff hitter or a pinch runner.
Yeah.
So say the 7th hitter in the order is due to lead off.
Mm-hmm.
The 6th hitter will be the one on second base.
Correct. Yep.
So what happens there is that, say, the 7 hitter gets a base hit and scores him. An earned run will not be charged to the pitcher, which was an interesting fact for me.
I think I like that rule because it's not.
Too.
It should not be going on his earned run average because it's not. He didn't allow that runner to get to second base.
Yeah, that was one of my initial criticisms of the rule, was because I wasn't sure if it counted or not, and if it counted, I'm like, wow, that's terrible.
It counts as a run.
It counts as a run,
but not an earned run, so it doesn't hurt his ERA, which is important.
That's
because,
a big difference.
Yeah, because you could have, say, if you had 10 extra inning games and this pitcher comes in on all these games and he allows 7 out of the 10 to score, but his ERA is going to be inflated. But he didn't allow that to happen, so I think that's my one thing that I think is good.
Especially since second base is technically considered a runner in scoring position. So it's a lot easier to score from second base. If you just hit a ball at the middle, you score the run. And that's not really on the pitcher because he didn't allow that runner on base in the first place.
Correct.
So they implemented it in 2020. They said it was just going to be temporary. I knew right then, though, that I didn't think it was going to be. In 2021, they renewed it. They're like, oh, there's still COVID stuff going on. We want to make sure if anything changes, we might need to lock down. We might need to cancel some games again. Just get people in and out of the ballpark. 2021 goes, and they're like, let's implement it for 2022. Just as a temporary measure, though, because there's still some, I don't know exactly what the reason was for 2022, but I think we all saw the reason, really.
Yeah.
Because I think it was just a test run for the full season.
Yeah.
To make sure that something that they can implement for this season, where this is the first year where the Ghost Runner is now something that's permanent. So now, starting this year, whenever a game goes to extra innings, there's going to be a runner on second base.
Dumb.
To start the 10th
Dumb.
And the
dumb.
11th and the 12th if it goes that
Dumb.
far.
With this new pace of play, pitch clock stuff, you don't need it.
But it was in the postseason last year?
Yeah. Wait.
Because there was that 18-inning game. The Mariners won, right?
Crap, I don't remember that. I do remember that game. I don't remember if they had the extra inning apply.
Yeah, because in the 2020 postseason, they didn't have the Ghost Runner there.
Yeah. So general idea, you don't like it?
No, I think it's a cheap run. For one, because you just place a runner on second base, and odds are that runner is going to score. You have 3 opportunities, and like I said earlier, a ground ball at the middle, a couple fly balls to deep left or somewhere in the outfield, that run's going to score. And that's not on the pitcher, even though it's kind of his responsibility, because he still gets credited for a run, doesn't he?
Yes, he gets credited for a run
because he gave it up, even though it's not earned.
Yeah, it's not earned. Correct.
And I just think it's more of a systemic problem for me, and the problem's more foundational, is that baseball, with the rule changes, and we'll go over all of them in future podcasts, but my general vibe is that it's yet another rule to appeal to fans or the general public who are never going to watch baseball ever in their lives. I was talking.
Jeez, holy crap, Will Myers! Oh my gosh, did he hit that in the second?
Second deck home run.
My gosh.
Yeah, so Stram just gave up the home run. Strom. Sorry.
Yeah. Gosh, that's a great ball. I want to go to that ballpark. I actually looked up tickets to see how expensive it would be to fly to Cincinnati, but too expensive right now.
Yeah.
So.
But yeah, I just think Because, for example, I was talking about my podcast with coworkers at work.
What the heck? They put a Viking costume on after the home run. These freaking celebrations are getting absurd.
Oh, they've been doing a lot of stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like wheeling around the player in the wheelbarrow and adding chains and crowns and robes.
I'm all for the celebrations, but that was just funny to see. They put a freaking Viking helmet on him and a freaking cape, like a robe. Okay. Sorry. Sidetrack. That was just so weird to look at.
It's okay.
Yeah.
I'm just repeating the same thing anyway. Like, just so I talk with the coworkers.
Yeah.
And even with the rule changes, they're still not watching baseball.
Yeah, no.
It's not their speed.
No.
And while the time and the games have gone down for sure.
Yeah.
I still don't know how much of an appeal it's going to have to people outside of baseball. So I think the ghost rule, the ghost runner, is one of those examples where it's like, we need to get butts in the seats. We need eyes on the television. And we need to make these games shorter because the attention spans of people are too short now. It's not a fast-paced sport like, say, basketball is or football is, where you're constantly moving and plays are constantly happening. That's why they're so popular.
Yeah. Yeah. So my take on it, if you couldn't hear me say dumb like 15 times, I think it's dumb. With the new pace of play, with the pitch clock, everything being faster, offense is up. We'll get more into that when we talk about the pitch clock. But the offense is up. I think because of that, we shouldn't have the ghost runner. This would be my idea. You play to the 12th inning, regular rules. Regular, no runners on second base to start the inning. If you don't score by the 12th inning, you have the home run derby. And we've talked about this with a couple of our friends about ideas of how we could, end games faster. But I feel like you should, most of the games end in the 10th or 11th inning with the ghost runner. For as far as we know, did you have any statistics on that when you were looking it up? I know the general idea is that they normally end in the 10th or 11th, but
I'm looking at an article here where between 2018 and 2019 there were 76 games that went beyond the 12th inning. Since the rule was implemented, and this is a time frame of 2020, 2021, there was 5.
See, exactly. I was completely right. Here's the thing. With the new rules, you just get rid of it and let them play because it's faster. So there's more offense, and let them play, let them win like old school way. If you get to the 12th inning, have the home run derby. It's fun. Ghost runner is not fun. You got the runner on second base. I know each team gets the same chance, but you can start a rally just with that. I'd rather see a home run derby, and I know that might be a little weird to see, but I think that's more entertaining and would actually get people to watch the sport instead of just putting just a random player on second base. You're like, oh yeah, that's the ghost runner. Let's actually have some home run competition. And it would incentivize a team to go. One of our friends, Taylor Hernandez, has had this idea where you just have one juiced player.
Oh, what we call him? We had a name for him. He was the mule.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, we'll have plenty. That's going to be a good podcast for sure. But have the team, five swings or 5. Keep it short. You don't have to be. It doesn't have to be like a 10-minute at bat. It's how many home runs you can hit. Just have 5 swings. If you ever watch the home run derby and you have 5 swings and 5 home runs, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah,
the home run derby is one of my top things that I want to go to when it's in Philadelphia in 2026, I believe.
Yes. For the 250th anniversary Declaration of Independence.
I think it'd be a lot of fun. That's my take on it. I don't like the ghost runner. It does shorten the game. I admit that. It does shorten the game in terms of what it's accomplishing their goal. It's just a dumb way to accomplish their goal, and that would be my way to fix it. Home run derby after the 12th inning.
So it would be like the baseball equivalent of, say, hockey, where you have like a overtime, quote-unquote.
Shootout.
And if you don't complete it in that overtime, you have a shootout.
Yeah.
Or like soccer.
Yeah, like soccer. Absolutely. Because if soccer was just penalty kicks or something like that, it's entertaining. I hate soccer, but that's entertaining. Same thing with a shootout in hockey. That's entertaining, and people watch that part. Yeah. So that would be my take on it. And people, you can ask me all that type of stuff about the Ghost Runner. I mean, you and I have texted back and forth how dumb it is.
Everything we've said here, we've talked about before. Just now, we're bringing it to you guys.
I'm still surprised when I'm like, oh, extra innings, and then I see the Ghost Runner. I'm like, how the heck did he get there? I'm like, freaking Ghost Runner.
Yeah.
It's so annoying. It's freaking.
Yeah.
You can't tell. I'm a little pent up with everything right now. I'm just.
It's okay.
Yeah. So
in the nose.
Yeah. Yeah, and obviously when we're done this, please comment on the Ghost Runner stuff. I know we're not done talking about it, but feel free to comment on what you think about the Ghost Runner, whether any ideas that you have on it, whether you like it, whether you don't like it. Do you think a home run derby should happen? Do you think that, a home team should get advantage because they are the home team or something like that?
Yeah. I mean, I guess my general impression is that Here's my thing. Baseball has been pushing really hard for the new rules and how good they've been. Now, I'm not going to say it's all negative. I mean, if you've seen the pace of play and how fast games are going, they're down a great deal. And I'm like, wow, this game's over already.
Sandy Alcantara with an hour and 57-minute shutout.
Yeah.
That was impressive.
That's like something you'd see from baseball 50, 60 years ago.
Yeah.
A game under 2 hours.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I feel like it's not... like the impression I'm also hearing from other people too is like, oh, everyone loves it. Then I go to like the comments section of all these different feeds and everybody hates it.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's kind of like an adjustment. It's because they really want to, baseball has a big publicity department. They want to bring people in. They want people to watch the games. And we do too.
Yeah. I think I saw a poll. This is obviously a completely different topic because about the pace of play because this involves the pitch clock. But I think I saw a poll. It was either John Boy or Barstool. I can't remember which one it was. But it was like, do you like the new pace of play? Do you like the pitch clock and how it's affecting? I think it was 86% liked it. And I was like, I was surprised. And then the comment section underneath was, which was complete opposite of what you were viewing, I think. So like, there was like people that don't like the pitch clock, and it's like old white men or something like that. I'm like, oh, that's me. Yeah, I'm just an old white guy because I don't like the pitch clock. But that's a completely different podcast. Yeah, I don't like the Ghost Runner. It's not fun. No. It's really not. It's really frustrating because
it's cheap.
It happened at the Phillies game 3 games ago. Phillies blew it, obviously, to get to the extra innings. But Kimbrel came in... I'm trying to remember this. So Kimbrel wasn't the start of the 10th inning, but he came in with, I think, 1 out. And... I can't remember anymore. But the Phillies lost because of it. And then we didn't execute properly once we had... we're losing. Because freaking Christian Pache came up and broke his bat on a bloop freaking pop up to the third baseman instead of bunting the guy over. Pache's one of the worst hitters I've ever seen. I mean, not one of the worst hitters, but he's bad. I don't know why he didn't bunt him over there. I just don't. He can't hit. Get him over. And he can possibly beat out the bunt, too. But I just remember when Kimbrel came in, I think with 1 out, runner on second, just base hit. And I'm like, but it's... I know you're like, there's some people like, well, you just got to get him out, But I'm like, yeah, but they didn't allow that person to get on base. Like, that's different.
And that's my main beef. It's a cheap run.
Yeah, it's really cheap.
Runner. Yeah,
yeah, it's really cheap.
And I'm not going to say that the people who have won that way have won illegitimately, but there is like a sense where it's like, well, we didn't come all the way back to win in the extra innings. It's just like, oh, we had the runner on second base. And we got the run pass.
Yeah.
And that was it.
Yeah. I know my dad doesn't like it. I think it's a dumb idea. And I would want to hear more from general fans, not more diehard fans. Like, hey, what do you think about this? Because I imagine they're probably like, all right, they don't really care about it. But the thing is because they don't really know the interest. No, that's not the right word. I'm going to stop myself from sounding dumb. Kind of like the ins and outs of baseball.
Yeah. Well, I mean, just the general public too, I guess. Just people who don't watch baseball so often. Like, if I bring my sister in, like, what would she think?
Yeah.
Kind of deal.
Yeah. How'd that guy get there? Oh, yeah. No, they just put him there.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Why? They tested this out in the minors. I remember them doing that out. And they liked it, but I was like, oh my gosh. There's so many rules that they're thinking about making the mound further away to help the hitters. I'm like, no, that will ruin pitchers.
Or like when who is it that was like running the first? There was like a problem at first base, and the runner got in the way, and there was people in the comments being like, "Oh, we should add that extra bag like you do like in slow pitch softball." Yeah, like
Hell
that orange.
no.
Yeah,
oh
like
my
that, yeah, like that
gosh.
orange dactyl. It's like that's the thing. It's like that's the mindset now. It's like there's something that's slightly broken. Oh, let's add a new rule and change things up.
No, just because one thing happens does not mean you add a new rule. Kind of like, so this goes off of, remember when Buster Posey got hurt? He got leveled,
Yes.
and then they were like, oh yeah, we can't have this anymore. I can't have catchers being leveled. I see that, but it definitely changed how baseball was played, and it's a less contact sport at home plate. Obviously, home plate's the only time, but you would see giant collisions like that, and Posey was out for the entire year. It was a very devastating injury, and the rule change was happening because of that. So I'm indifferent on that one, but that was an instance of that happened. They changed the rule right away.
Yeah,
they didn't blink. They didn't blink. It was just quick right away. Now we can't have that. No. Same thing with when Utley broke Flores. Was it Flores? From the Mets, he broke his leg sliding into second base during
was it Wilmer?
Yeah, Wilmer Flores. Yeah, I think that was him. He Utley slid in kind of hard. I'm biased because it's Chase Utley, but Utley definitely did slide in hard. But he didn't go over the bag, if I remember. He just slid in hard to second base. Yeah. It was a late slide, but he slid in hard, and then he broke Wilmer Flores' leg, and then that rule was changed, just like that. Yeah. So maybe someone look at what happened with O'Neal Cruz. He broke his ankle, but he was he couldn't take out the catcher, and the catcher is not supposed to block the plate, and the catcher gave him a lane, but he slid did a really bad job sliding, and he got hurt because of it. And the catcher almost got hurt too. It looked like he was gonna get hurt. So with these new rule changes, there's sometimes where people are trying to avoid the rule from being broken, so that way they don't get in trouble, and they're getting hurt because of it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the one instance where I'm okay with those kind of rule changes because people's health is more important to me than the baseball.
Oh, yeah, no, I completely,
Like with Buster Posey when he got hurt, or Flores with the Mets. You go back to, that one famous Pete Rose collision at home plate. Yeah. You did that in the All-Star game.
Yeah, the All-Star game, yeah.
And that altered that whole guy's career.
Yeah.
It separated his shoulder, I think.
Yeah.
And I don't want to see that happen.
Wait,
so.
That wasn't Bochy, was it?
No, the Bochy one was in the 1980 NLCS.
Yeah,
that was different.
Yeah,
Pete Rose's was in the All-Star game before that.
Yeah, and that was nasty. Yeah. That was nasty.
Rose just leveled Bochy.
I think it was Pete Rose's birthday yesterday, as far as I remember. Yeah,
they should bring him in the Phillies broadcast booth.
So I missed that, and I really wish I didn't because I heard it was.
It was so awkward.
I heard it was terrible.
Great.
Okay, gosh, everyone's like, yeah, it was bad. I'm like, But you have any more on the Ghost Runner? Obviously, we both do not like it, if we haven't made that clear.
Ghost Runner, I don't like it. You're going to realize that I'm going to be one of those old men that Peaches talks about on Twitter, where I wear the sunglasses and the shaved head, and I'm driving a Mercedes in my midlife crisis at some point.
Wow, that's only 10 years away.
It is. I'm 30.
You're going to drive a Mercedes shaved head in 10 years?
No.
I was about to say.
No, I'll be like that guy that people see in the podcast saying, everything sucks now.
Yeah. I know. I'm kind of already there too. Everything does suck.
Yep.
But yeah, so that's our Ghost Runner topic for the day. We don't like it. Let us know in the comments. I'll probably put something out on Instagram, asking for you guys' opinion on it. And I would love for suggestions on what we could change about that rule moving forward. Yeah. If we could, my vote is for the home run derby.
I like that.
You like that?
I like that proposal.
Yeah.
Because I feel like baseball is its most exciting when you have that energy, which the home run brings.
Exactly. And
not too many. Yeah. But I feel like it's enough.
Yeah. And now I don't know exactly if it would be like a home run derby where the opposing pitcher is pitching, because I think it would just have to be classic all-star type vibe home run derby where you just throw it, because then you have to have a good pitching coach or a good batting practice coach to do it. So it adds more weight to it instead of just winning, because Pete Alonso won $2 million over 2 home run derby championships, but this is actually win-loss type of thing. Obviously, it's debatable. It's not set in stone for me. Like it's just something that I think we find entertaining and actually be fun instead of just putting a runner on second base. Oh yeah.
And the 12th inning is, I think that's the nice middle point.
Yeah,
too.
absolutely.
It's long enough, but it's not like you have to wait until the 15th or 16th.
And also, it might lead people to stay that long. And stay that long to watch the game.
Yeah, like, you want the 12th inning.
I want that 12th inning. Instead of like, just get through these 3 innings. Let's just get the home run derby. Yeah. Exactly. See? Right there.
Yeah, there you
Boom.
Go. We solved the problem.
Solved the problem. Okay. So there goes our junk ball ghost runner segment right there. That's done.
Yeah.
And now as we're closing out, our hot take.
Yep.
And Kev, this is your turn for a hot take.
It is my turn, and I was struggling up until right before this podcast was being recorded on what exactly my hot take was, because I actually didn't think of any until right before.
Yeah.
So
before you start, I think I told you right before we started this podcast that my hot take for the Dodgers is looking pretty good right now. You know, they aren't off to a great start.
It's early.
Diamondbacks are looking good. Padres are looking good. You know, it's for right now. I'm just saying, I'm just reminding everyone.
It's okay. Early. Why did you get pushed back for the Dodgers one?
No, I don't. I only got it back from you. I think I didn't get it back. Oh. But I'll think. You know what? We should probably put the stuff on Instagram so that way we can get a feedback from everything. Yeah. I'll start doing that.
Well, I don't know how much feedback I'm going to get from this one, except from maybe Yankees fans, because this is more Yankee fan related.
Boo.
The boss, George Steinbrenner. He's adored in Yankee fandom by many people. He has his face plastered on a wall above the bleachers in right center. It says the boss underneath. I think he's one of the most overrated owners in the history of baseball.
Whoa, okay, that's a little bit. Yeah, that surprised me right there.
And I'm not saying this because I don't like George Steinbrenner. I do, but I feel like a lot of the credit has to go to the people he was surrounded with. Mm-hmm. And the fact that he got a lot of breaks. So he originally bought the team in the 70s when the Yankees were bad.
Correct.
And he sunk a lot of money into the enterprise, got the superstars. He got Catfish Hunter. He got Reggie Jackson. He hired Billy Martin. And they got to 3 straight World Series and won 2 of them. After that, it was just a class of mismanagement from him through the 80s. He hired and fired Billy Martin like 5 times. Went through managers like nothing. A lot of instability and chaos in the organization, and they didn't win anything in that time span. In 1990, he got suspended from Major League Baseball.
I do remember that.
Because of it was hiring someone to dig up dirt on Dave Winfield.
Oh, yeah.
It was a lifetime suspension at first, I think. He had to step down, but he was reinstated after 2 years. In that 2-year time span, they drafted Derek Jeter. They brought in Bernie Williams. They hired Gene Michael and, all this management that helped build the Yankees dynasty of the late 90s.
Okay.
So, and then, once he came back, I feel like he took a bit of the credit for that. Mm-hmm. And his main hire through that time span was Cashman and Torre. Now, Torre ended up being a great hire. It was very controversial at the time because Joe Torre had gone so long without even getting to the World Series as a manager. Mm-hmm. The Cashman one is, he hasn't done a bad job, but it's definitely been a different mindset, and it's not been built quite the same way since those 90s teams. So I still have respect, and I like George Steinbrenner for his fiery attitude, but I think he's overrated.
Oh, that's very interesting, to be honest. Just to go off what you said, I think the reason why people would think that's hot is because he came in 3 World Series championships right away. That adds to, they won right away. Mm-hmm. Wasn't like they had to wait 5-10 years. Yeah. Won right away. And so then they have that grace period. So no matter what you do, it's kind of like, with Nick Foles. He won the Eagles' first Super Bowl championship.
Oh, it's the same thing with Cashman. Cashman was hired in 98, the same year that they won 114 games.
Yeah. And, so Cashman is, he gets a lot of flack, on Twitter and all that type of stuff.
I'm balanced with Cashman. I'll criticize him when I feel like he needs to be criticized, and I'll give him the credit when I think he deserves it. But I don't think he's necessarily the hottest stuff either.
It's kind of like my brother's hot take on Phil Jackson. He thinks he's the most overrated coach in all time because he has Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, and Dennis Rodman on his teams. And then when he went to the Lakers, he had Kobe and Shaq. Arguably, he had 4 players in the top 20 all time in his time. And then, when he went to the Knicks, he didn't win. Of course, that was with Carmelo and whoever. But yeah, my brother thinks Phil Jackson's the most overrated coach of all time, which I can see when you have Kobe and Jordan, who are, in my opinion, top 5 with Kobe and Jordan. I think Kobe should be in top 5. Shout out to Laura Marion, Kobe Bryant.
Well, it's the Phil Jackson piece about inheriting the success. And while I don't necessarily
because there was Doug Collins before.
Yeah.
And he had kind of set the tone for everything with Chicago.
And while I wouldn't say that Steinbrenner inherited the 70s dynasty, I feel like the 90s he definitely did.
Yeah.
Especially in that time span where he was not involved in baseball and pulled away from baseball operations for a while after that.
Yeah. Oh, it looks like Strom's got I'm going to say a blister on his hand. They're looking at his hand right now. But yeah, it's a shame. Got any more on your hot take?
No. I mean, if there's any Yankee fans that listen to this, I'm certainly going to await your feedback. I don't know how strongly you feel about it. I feel like they're going to feel pretty strongly about it because a lot of people love George Steinbrenner.
Wait, Yankee fans passionate about something? So weird.
Yeah.
All right, everyone. That wraps up episode 3. This is our 3rd podcast and the Ghost Runner podcast for the Junk Baller podcast. No, I'm trying. I started saying Ghost Runner podcast. It's not the Ghost Runner podcast. This was the subject. Ghost Runner was a subject of the Junk Baller podcast. So if you have any comments, questions, or hot takes of your own, let us know in the comments. We appreciate you listening, and we'll catch you next time.
Catch you next time, guys.